Hey squad, it's Jill here from Lavender and Friends, your source of essential oil education and inspiration. If you're joining me live, thank you so much for watching, or if you're watching the replay, thanks for joining us as well. If you want to type in the comments where you're watching from, I'd love to hear where you're at. I'm just going to do a video to do a bit of a wrap up of conventions. So the Australian doTERRA convention was Friday and Saturday. It was at the International Convention Centre in Darling Harbour in Sydney. And it was amazing, absolutely amazing. I hope you guys really appreciated me doing lots of videos and trying to, make you feel like you were there with me. Hope you found that really useful. As you can tell, my voice is a little gone. I may have been cheering a little too much, so just bear with me, but we'll see how we go. Now I will do a wrap up of the emotions class and also the silver and above training day. I'll probably do that tomorrow, but I wanted to get, I wanted to go through convention now while it's still all fresh in my mind and I'm still, I guess, buzzing from the high of being with 4,500 essential oil lovers like myself. It was just amazing. Now, the theme this year was you, which meant there was a lot of personal development. Now, a thing that came up quite a few times was that doTERRA isn't just an essential oil company, it's a personal development company wrapped in essential oils. And I have to say, I really feel that was true. Most of the speakers shared about their personal journeys, about lessons they've learned along the way, and I definitely picked up a few, I guess, inspirations and motivations from me personally. So I'll definitely go through and share some of those with you. I commented earlier at the start of the week about, I had my shirts and I was a bit nervous. Turns out they were a really good idea, mainly because when there's 4,500 people, finding your people is a lot easier when you're wearing matching shirts. So that was fun. We were the only team on the first day to have shirts. On the second day, there were a few other teams that had matching shirts. So next year, when we have a massive team, we'll get some even more amazing shirts. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Now, I'm just going to go through basically some of the speakers. I'll read a couple of my notes and sort of share, I guess, some of the things I learned from them. First speaker of the day was Dr. Riggs. Now, he was, get your science nerd on, he was lovely. He spoke a lot about some of the chemical constituents of the oils, which is something I found quite interesting. He began by talking about the fir oils, which are subclasses of the conifers, and how firs are calming for emotions, soothing for the skins, and then you've got your spruces, your cypress, your pines, which can sort of help revive our energy. And it was really interesting to learn that all of the firs have the same 9 compounds, but each different fir oil has a different 3 as the main ones, and it's those main compounds that then, I guess, influence how that essential oil can support us and what effect that oil can have. Now, he talked about the reason why they're swapping out white fir for Siberian fir. So they've decided that they're going to discontinue doing white fir and they're now transitioning to Siberian fir. The reason is it has a more prominent chemistry. So the chemical components have a more positive effect. He talked about some of those different effects, such as the apinines, which are calming, relaxing, and soothing. Then you've got your camphenes, and some of the effects that can have about like soothing dry coughs, lowering cholesterol. And then you've got your boronal acetates, which can help calm down your nervous system, reduce inflammation. He then talked about how you've got your tree oils, and the analogy he gave, which I love, is if you think about a tree is grounded, it's rooted, it's strong, your tree oils are going to have that grounding and calming effect. By comparison, your flowers, they're up towards the sky, and the floral oils have that more uplifting effect. He also talked a little bit about how the florals can also be calming and can encourage relaxation. And an interesting fact I learned was that rosamine, jasmine, melissa, and neroli, those 4 oils, only come from the petals, which is why they're actually some of the more expensive oils, because they're purely made from the petals. He also talked a bit about jasmine, which is the king of the flowers, which you guys know I would agree. I love jasmine. And also talked about the new oil, neroli, which is very exciting. It's from the bitter orange tree and it's uplifting and it basically gives calm and ease. So it's a really great one for people with anxiety or stress issues because it has that calming effect on your emotions. He also then went into talking about the chamomile oils, which I didn't know that much about, so I found it quite interesting. And he was talking about blue tansy. Now, blue tansy is really the Smurf oil. I kind of went, yeah, whatever, let's see what it's like, and put a drop on. It is blue. Your skin will go blue. It will absorb in and it's amazing for your skin, but don't put it on just before you leave the house because you will turn blue. It was really interesting, some of the facts he was telling about the growing of the blue tansy. So for example, with the blue tansy, there's a 3-month harvest, takes 7 months to grow. There is around 300,000 seedlings per hectare, and they have to replant every year. So for us to get enough blue tansy, they worked out that we needed about 173 hectares, so over 5 million blue tansy plants, which was like, wow, amazing. He also then talked a bit about the endocannabinoid system, which is obviously relating to the new oil of copaiba, or copaiba if you're talking the Brazilian way. Now, it was really, really interesting when he was talking about that, and I highly suggest you have a look on YouTube and you can actually watch them at presentation. I won't even try to go into it. I would not do it justice, but basically copaiba is an amazing oil. It's got some really phenomenal effects and some really positive effects, so definitely one I recommend you having a look at. Another speaker who came up was the famous Tara Bliss. That girl has legs that are like up to her elbows, up to her armpits. She is gorgeous. She is a presidential diamond, and it's not that hard to see why. She was captivating on stage. And she was talking about the power of you. And one thing she said that I found really interesting was that she said, I'm not for everyone, but the oils are. And I think that's a really important part, because obviously I'm not for everyone. I'm very science-based, I'm a mom, I, have a lot of beliefs of my own, and that may not appeal to everyone, and that's okay. But what's important is that these oils can appeal to everyone, and they can be useful for everyone. So I need to get out of my own way and just let the oils do the talking. Another thing she was saying, which I think really spoke to me quite strongly, was she said, the oils are freedom. We're creating freedom using the oils, and it offers people a choice. There are people out there that are praying, and we are the answer to those prayers. There are people praying for a good night's sleep, praying their kids will stop getting sick, praying to get rid of their debt. And the oils have the ability to answer these prayers, and to think about where I would be if I hadn't had those oils, and then to use that to inspire me. And that to me was like a bolt of lightning when she said that. I was like, it's true, we do have this miraculous answer, and we need to get out there and share it. Another thing she said was to close the door on negative thoughts, which is something I've been working on. I know I have a brain bully, and whenever I start to feel that derailment of my positive thoughts and everything starts to get cluttered, stop, take a few deep breaths and go, nope, moving on. Another thing she said was, don't be immobilized by comparison. And I think that's really relevant. It's so easy to see these amazing people up there and think, oh my God, I'm not Tara Bliss. I'm not as good as she is. And just to become paralyzed. But she said, don't do that. Just get out there and just keep going. Don't become immobilized. And also, don't freak out when you get adversity. Because obviously when you get successful, you will get people saying no, you will get adversity, and just keep going and keep believing in yourself. Now, the lovely Vanessa Jean was also one of our speakers. If you've ever had a chance to see her live, it's magical. That girl really is a fairy. She's part speaker, part magician, sorceress, weaving these amazing stories. And every time she spoke about the oils, it was like she was speaking about her best friend in the world. And she was very, very amazing to listen to. And one of the things she said that I really loved, and I wrote it down, was, who are you not to be fabulous? You are a divine creature of God. And I've been sharing a lot about how I've been struggling with a lot of self-consciousness and sort of feeling like I'm not good enough. And again, that's something that really spoke to me, is to remember that, God made me, He loved me, He created me, and to stop freaking out about what everyone else thinks, because God loves me, so who cares? She also was talking about using aromatic anchors, which was really interesting. And she's basically said, take the lid off a bottle of oil, take a smell. Feel how think about how you feel in that moment. Do you feel uplifted? Do you feel sad? Not sad, but do you feel uplifted? Do you feel grounded? Do you feel, what are you feeling? And anchor that in your brain, anchor that positive emotion. Then the next time you smell that and you take that smell, you should go back to that feeling again. And it's about anchoring yourself and breathing in your oils as you set your intention. Now, she was talking about all the new oils, different ways you can blend them, and I'll share some of those blends over probably the next couple of weeks as well, so keep an eye out for them. Mikalena Knight got up next, and she's another presidential diamond, and she's someone who I admire greatly. I love watching her videos. She's got some great videos training specifically for people doing the business, and she was talking about balance, and she asked a question which I think we really should think about, which is balance even possible? And she was talking about decision fatigue, which is something I think I struggle with. Is just so many choices, not knowing what to do. And she shared some really good tips on how you can, I guess, work through that. And one thing she spoke about as well was about being present, focus on the present. So if you only have, half an hour to play with your kids, don't spend that half an hour thinking about what you need to cook for dinner. Spend that half an hour playing with your kids. Maximize your focus and attention on what you're doing rather than being distracted by lots of different things. And also another thing she said that I thought was really important was being clear on where you're at. So to create change, the first step is to acknowledge where you are right there and to tune into your feelings and emotional state. And I think that's important. A lot of the speakers did talk about, taking stock, being aware of where you're at. And that's something I think that's an important thing to do, because how can you see, if you're creating a map and you know where you want to go, how can you create a map to get there if you don't know where you currently are? And another thing she said about was, when you're fulfilled, you have more joy, more energy, more fulfillment. When you're fulfilled, that's going to inspire people. People aren't going to be inspired by you if you're like stressed and nervous and, But if you're doing what you love, then you're going to be full of joy. And then people are going to see that and they're going to want that too. And she gave some really good blueprint for balance as well, which I thought was quite interesting. And she talked about setting boundaries too, which I thought was important, because obviously creating balance, sometimes you need to, she talked about the empowered no. So where it's not like, oh no, it's no, like that's just not something that interests me. And that's fine. And being, you have a limited amount of time, so spend it where you won't, I guess. Now, Liz Chick spoke as well. Oh my goodness. Liz, I could just hug you, seriously. She's an early childhood educator, and she was talking about the pedagogy of smell and about how important it is that we start using these oils in the classroom and how we can use it to support our children. And how, when kids are in that parasympathetic state, they're more relaxed, they're open to learning, they're more open to caring, and how we can use these oils to get them in that state. And she was just phenomenal, really, really phenomenal. And it was such a blessing to have her speak. And, loved it. She was amazing. Jodie York was another speaker, and she was really fabulous. She, to me, was really inspiring because she was obviously very nervous, and she even, opened up to being nervous, but she was like, I said yes anyways. I'm doing it up here, even though I'm so nervous, I'm up here anyway. And I found that really inspiring, that, not being afraid to step out of your comfort zone. And this business does call us to do that. And, sharing the oils does call us to do that. So I was really inspired by that, and thought she did a really fantastic job. They also they did a lot of talking about obviously the state of doTERRA and the growth in New Zealand and what's going on around the world. Which was quite interesting. And they also talked a lot about the Healing Hands Foundation and the work that the Healing Hands Foundation does. That was one thing that really struck me, was just the commitment and the passion that the founders have towards creating a better world and using the oils and using the power and the money and the finances to better the world and to do good things and do amazing things, and how they partner with these farmers and they offer them fair wages, and they work with them, and they'll go to a region where there's maybe pockets of little farmers here and there, and they'll gather them together and they'll help them to, negotiate a fair wage and to get better conditions. And that was something I'm definitely gonna, I guess, share more with you guys and put more videos up and help make you have more of an understanding about that side of the business. And especially because Healing Hands is going to be launching in Australia very soon. It's something they're very close to launching. And when that launches, I'd really love for us to be more involved and to be able to participate and support that work, because it's just amazing. Like when you see these pictures of these, people without running water and without the basic conditions we take for granted every day, your heart breaks. Your heart does break for them. And when they were talking about the Operation Underground Railroad work and the work they do with freeing the children from sex slavery, and how you know, the work that goes into that to freeing these children, and not just freeing them and not just escaping them, but also the rehabilitation work they're doing. And they were talking about the new treatment facility they're building in Haiti. And the reason they're building in Haiti is because after the natural disaster there a couple of years ago, there are so many orphans that there's just been this huge upsurge in these children being taken and trafficked. And so the need is there. And sorry, I obviously when they did the presentation, I bawled my eyes out. And you just think how lucky we are that, you know, I mean, the reality is I go to the shops with my kids all the time, and I don't really have to worry so much that someone's going to snatch my children. But for some people, that is a real fear they face every day. And, you know, there are mothers out there that are missing their children and don't know where they are. So it's amazing the work that they do. It's amazing the work that they do to get these children back and to put themselves, I mean, obviously the people who do this work are putting themselves in a very dangerous position. They're dealing with, you know, very dangerous people, but the risk is so worth it. So I will be sharing a video that they shared with us about one of the operations they did that rescued 25 children. And it really was, yeah, I needed a lot of tissues, so sorry. So the work that they do is just so critical and so important, and it just reminded me that, again, it's more than just, you know, when we take that bottle of oil and we think, oh, that smells pretty, don't just think about how pretty it smells, think about where it came from, think about the people who harvested it, who grew it, who walked halfway up a mountain to pick the wintergreen leaves, to carry it back down, to be distilled to make your wintergreen. You know, there's so much effort that goes into these oils, and these are people's livelihoods. So it's just, you know, so, sorry, it's yeah. They also talked about, which I found was amazing as well, they were talking about the Source to You website and about the testing they do, and how you can, you know, log in, and on the bottom of every bottle is a batch number, and you can log in and actually get the report. And the thing that really impressed me is he was talking about how doTERRA is so transparent. We open the doors to our testing facilities. We open the doors to our, you know, distillation. We want people to see what we're doing. We want them to see that we're doing things right. And that was something that really amazed me as well. There's no secrets. There's no, you know, oh, we can't give you our secret blends. Like, they want people to know what they're doing. They want to see the high quality. And he also talked about how we've got the purity and the potency. So the purity means there's no additives, there's no fillers, it is nothing but the essential oil. And the potency is about how it does what it needs to do. When you open that bottle, it's going to have the correct chemicals to influence your body and to give you that benefit. So that was something that I was like, yes, it was amazing. It was really good to hear about. Another speaker was Eric Larsen. He was lovely, and he one of the things he shared, which I thought was really, really interesting, was that a lot of the oils that we get are actually exclusive to doTERRA. We get exclusive contracts with these growers because they realize that we offer the best prices, and we're going to look after them, and we're not dodgy middlemen. We're going to, you know, pay them a fair wage. And then we also had Dr. Riggs back again talking about touch. That was a really, really good presentation, and he shared actually a really interesting study about, actually he shared a couple studies. One of the ones I'll mention is one of the studies he talked about was, it's called the Midas touch study, where waitresses would touch customers gently, and they found that when they touched the customer gently on the arm or the hand, they got a higher tip. And it was just that idea about making connections through touch. Another speaker was Natalie Cutler Welsh, and she was really lovely. She was talking about building resilience, and that was something I found. One thing she said that was really struck me was, can you plan and prepare to be more resilient? Because we don't always know what's going to happen in life, but can we set up systems and set up things so that if we get thrown a curveball, we're more prepared for them? And one of the things she said as well is that resilience is easier when you know what you want, and also challenges. Celebrate your wins and celebrate your challenges, because challenges are an opportunity to stop, to pause, and to refocus. And I think that's important for me to remember as well, that when, you know, something doesn't go the way I planned, 99 times in a month, a year, whatever, I will look back and see that it was for the best. So when something doesn't go as planned, instead of just stressing out and being like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Just go, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Stop, refocus, regroup, figure out what to do, and then move forward. And she said, you know, use the oils for you. Use the oils to help you and use them to support you. Another speaker was Rosie. Now, she was really interesting, and she was talking about labels, which are like, she was talking about who are you? And she was saying labels are the results of your circumstances. So, for example, for me, a label is I'm a mom. I'm a mum because I've had a child. I'm a wife. I'm a wife because I married someone. Those are results of my circumstances, and they're not actually a result of me. And so she was saying, who are you in your heart? So, for example, we were all at a convention together, so clearly we believe in natural health. We believe in community. We believe in connection. And she was saying, you know, you've got to look at who you are is a combination of your values and your beliefs and your actions. So what we believe and what we value should be seen in our actions. And if you're not living in alignment with yourself, if you're out of whack, then if your actions don't line up with your values and your beliefs, then you're out of alignment and you're going to be out of whack. And another thing she said, which I thought was beautiful, was as long as you compare yourself to others, you'll never find out who you are. And that was something quite, I think, profound as well, because, you know, when we spent 2 days straight watching like superstars like, you know, Tara Bliss, who is amazing, and Jessie Reimers, and all these presidential diamonds and amazing speakers who just get up there and just own that floor, it's very hard to think, oh my God, I'm never gonna be that good. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And you sort of, you stop valuing what you have. And she kind of reminded me that no, what I do is my way, and it is amazing, it's unique, and it's different, and to value that. And she said, another thing I thought was really important was she said, it's okay to feel worried or stressed or like you're not good enough, but don't set up camp there. Keep moving, keep going. And she was a really, really good speaker. So after we had all of these amazing convention speakers, after we had them sharing with us, there were some other things I'll talk about. So first of all, we had the new products launched. I did share what was in the convention kit, and the good news is all those things are coming to Australia. So we're getting a new bath bar, which is lavender peace. Yay! I love lavender peace, so I will now literally be able to bathe in it. And we'll be getting the Copaiba, which is very exciting. Now, they said the new products will be available from the 20th of March, except for Birch. Birch is not going to be available. That is a convention exclusive. And also the Manuka Touch, we don't know when that will be available. That'll be more towards the end of March. Now, they didn't really talk about the Lumo, but interestingly enough, when they had all the new products out on the table, there was a Lumo out there. So I don't know, they didn't make a big deal about it being released. Maybe it was just there by mistake, but I am fingers crossed praying that Lumo is going to be available. Next thing I'll talk about was the Gala Dinner. Now, if you go to convention, please go to Gala Dinner. It is so worth it. Walking into this room, and it was set up amazing with fairy lights, and it was a really fun celebration. Some of the highlights were doing the conga line with Hayley Hobson and Adam Bartlett. That was hilarious. Dancing and just having a really fun time, getting all dressed up with my team. Getting to cheer on Byron and Renee, who are my mentors, getting to watch them walk down the carpet as Blue Diamonds. That was amazing. Probably why I have no voice left was cheering them. They looked fantastic, and it was just really amazing to just see, I guess, the joy and excitement, not just in the people walking down the stage, getting their awards for hitting certain ranks. So at the Gala Dinner, it is designed as a celebration. So people who hit diamond and above get to walk down, they get announced. It's very exciting. But also seeing the excitement in the team, seeing the people rushing forwards when their person was getting called, to throw confetti and to cheer and to hug them, and just seeing all the excitement and the joy. It was just really, really amazingly, just an amazing inspiration for me. I got to walk on stage at convention. So on the second day in the morning, all the new silvers, golds, and platinums got to actually walk across the stage, and getting to walk out in front of 4,500 people standing and cheering was phenomenal. I did try and make a little Facebook Live to show what it's like, but I don't think it could possibly capture just the emotion and the excitement. And one of the things that really touched me is, I walked on stage, I was like, please don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Like, you are kind of a bit deer in headlights when you realize how many people are there, and you're kind of dancing and having fun, and then you get off and it's over like that. And then we sort of walked outside. We went to go walk outside. And I walked outside and there was a massive group of probably maybe about 50 people who had come outside. And one of the girls that's in the same team as me in the Pure Oils team, Vicky Drennan, her and a whole bunch of her girls were out. And as I walked out, they're like, "It's Jill." And they started cheering again. And I just about burst into tears. It just meant the world to me to see them out there cheering. So that was a really nice surprise. And it was just really nice to celebrate and to chat to other silvers as well. And, you know, while we were waiting backstage to go on, everyone was chatting. And it was just so exciting to hear different people's stories. Now, I'm just going to share a couple of the lessons I learned from the convention. The first one I was really impressed with was, as I said, that global focus. The fact that it's not just about, you know, making sales and bottom line and like an AGM meeting. It was about celebrating the sourcing and the people and how we were getting those oils and how we were supporting the people we were getting the oils from. That really, really struck a chord with me. Also hearing about the amazing work that the Healing Hands Foundation is doing. And as I briefly mentioned, they are going to be launching in Australia soon and getting a little preview of what the projects are going to be. That was really amazing. And I was really impressed by that. And also the fact that wellness advocates can apply to doTERRA for funding for their own personal projects. I think that's going to be an amazing opportunity for a lot of people. So I'm really excited about that coming. One thing that I really amazed me as well was, I guess, just how approachable everyone was. Like, you know, I'm not exaggerating. Dave Sterling, who is the CEO of the company, after convention, he was just walking around, and I went up to him and I'm like, "Oh, hi," and he had a chat with me. He was so chilled out and down to earth. He gave me a big hug, and he was like, "Oh, can't wait to see you in Utah." Like, he was he was just such a champion. And it just amazed me at how approachable everyone was. And there wasn't this like elitist, like, "Oh, we don't talk to you little pleb people." Like, everyone was so willing to chat and be friendly. And it just really impressed me that I guess there isn't anything amazingly different about these people to, you know, me. They're just people who just stepped up and they just kept going and didn't give up. And that, I think, for me was a big encouragement, because it's very easy to kind of look at these amazing people and I'm never going to be good enough. Whereas the convention kind of showed me that I guess I can be good enough, and that was really inspiring. Another thing I loved was being able to create relationships with other wellness advocates. So as you guys know, I've been doing these Mythbuster interviews, and at convention I actually managed to have chats with a few people about some different topics, such as oils in the classroom, oils in pets, using oils for your emotions, oils are just a luxury. And I actually really loved hearing other people's stories. I found it so inspiring to hear how other people got introduced to doTERRA and what their passions were. And again, it just reminded me that, you know, I'm not for everyone, but the oils are. And so, you know, everyone has a unique story, and I loved hearing those. And so I really can't wait to be sharing those with you, you know, over the next, you know, little while, sharing these interviews with you. So do keep an eye out for that. And another thing I love was just hearing those life-changing impacts and hearing people talk about how the oils had impacted them, and hearing these positive stories and how, you know, it was just really an amazing thing, and it was really inspiring for me. So that's all. Thanks for bearing with me. Thanks to my throat for not giving out on me. I can't wait for next year. I really encourage that if you can come along, whether you're building a business where you just want to learn a bit more about oils, I really recommend going, because there is something for everyone, and it was fantastic. Hope you guys have liked this video. If you do have any questions or want to learn more, please feel free to send me a message. If you'd like to learn more about how you can get your hands on these beautiful oils, again, I'd love to chat to you. You can always check out my website, www.lavenderandfriends.com. That's all, and I hope you have a really great evening.